Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
This is the third episode we've recorded today, so disclaimer.
And we're still standing.
And we saved the mead for last, which is probably a pretty smart, smart idea.
I'd say.
Okay, so it's been a while since I brewed or made a mead. I guess you brew a mead since I made a mead.
Yeah. So you maze a mead?
You might. You're a mazer if you make mead, or you're not. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was inspired by a conversation with Ricky the mead maker from Groenville Meadery up in Vermont, our friends.
Absolutely.
Who makes some really good sort of lower gravity, beer strength meads. And so I said, well, let me give my try at it. And listen to Basic Brewing Radio from a few episodes ago where he gave his tips on making meads and some very wise advice from Ricky the mead maker. Okay, so this is just a basic mead that I split after fermentation. So here we go. I bought from your store, Steve's Brew Shop, 4 pounds of wildflower honey, or 1.8 kilograms, and I dissolved that into 1 gallon, or about 4 liters of water at 150 degrees Fahrenheit, just to integrate the honey in there. And then after that, I added 1 gallon of room temperature water. I should have chilled that down in the refrigerator to quicken the chilling process. Chilled that down to pitching temperature. Third show of the day.
So about 89 degrees.
That's right. Kelvin. No, I chilled it down, and then I pitched 2 packages of Safale US-05 hydrated into the must. Now, there's a little story that comes after that. So why don't you? We have 2 versions. We have a sparkling mead. So
right.
why don't you open that first and serve that? So the US-05 did pretty good, but it was too slow for me. So what I did was a while after it fermented, I added a package of bread yeast, Fleischmann's bread yeast, and that finished the job. And then it took a while to flocculate out. So once it flocculated out, I transferred the mead to a little Mr. Beer fermenter, and I packaged and primed, bottled and primed, half of it, unmolested, unflavored, with the little priming sugar tablets. And we've still got a ways to go. It's going to take a little while to carbonate. But this allegedly is supposed to be, cheers, we forgot to cheer.
Sorry.
Bad luck. Okay.
I won't put it down until you have to. That's really good. It tastes like honey.
Oh, it does. I can't wait until it carbonates.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be interested. Be honest. You're a better mead maker than I. What do you think of that? Just the plain mead.
I think it's very good. It tastes like honey. That's nice. So the honey notes are very prevalent, and they're sweet and floral, and they're what they're supposed to taste like. I think it might be a little thin. I think it could have a little more body, and I think it could be a little brighter. So that's the 2 things.
Yes, you're right on. Now, I think once it carbonates,
that will brighten it.
It'll brighten it, and the body. It'll help the body.
Yes, it'll help both
but
those things.
You use acid blend.
I do.
In your meads to make them less flabby, so to
Yeah.
speak. And I think that this one could benefit. I didn't have any at the time, and I tasted when I bottled it. I was like, "Gosh, I wish I had some acid blend just to brighten this up a little bit." I think you're spot on. And we didn't talk about this beforehand.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on. I think the flavor of the honey comes through really well. There's a little bit of honeycomb in there too. You remember? Did you ever chew on honeycomb when you were a kid? There's just a little bit of that. I think it's a really high quality honey.
Yeah, it is. And the honey which you got from me, it's a very good honey to make mead with. It's not all honeys are made the same.
Right, and this is specifically for brewing.
It's for brewing, and so there's a whole lot of things we could talk about there. But the important point for the moment is that it's good quality honey. It's not honey that's got a bunch of corn syrup in it, which by USDA law can have up to a certain point. Anyway, That's a whole other can of fish, kettle of fish.
Yes.
But I think, yes, I think adding a little bit of acid to this at bottling would have brightened the flavor and added a little punch to it that would have made it pop more.
I could also have added some ingredients to stabilize it and back sweeten it a little bit,
Yep.
but I would not have been able to carbonate.
No, you can't do both.
That's the tricky
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So this finished out at 0.998. So start out at 1064, ended up at 0.998. So that's why it is thin. So 8.5% alcohol. It doesn't taste hot at all.
No, it doesn't. And I'm surprised at how low it finished, because it's quite sweet to me, to my palate.
It's got a lot of the
Yeah,
honey flavor.
The honey flavor is still there.
Now, one thing, I followed some of Ricky's instructions, and his two of the things that I followed were pitch a lot of yeast. Make sure the yeast, there's plenty of yeast in there, and I think that the 2 packages of the USO5 and then the bread yeast a few days later, plenty of yeast, and also make sure that the yeast has stuff to eat. And I did a staggered nutrient. I did
I was going to ask you
a
about
half
that.
a teaspoon, and this is for a 2-gallon batch, half a teaspoon of this yeast nutrient at pitching, a half a teaspoon the next day, and I also, before I added it, I swirled the fermenter and degassed.
Good.
Got the carbon dioxide out
Very
of there.
important.
And then another half a teaspoon the next day, and then another one a couple days after that. So I didn't want to and the fermentation was starting to slow down at that point. I didn't want to have excess nutrient in there left over.
Right, right.
So the yeast had plenty of nutrients to eat. There was plenty of yeast in there, and so you don't get any harsh alcohol, even though it's finished out dry, and it finished out at 8.5%. You don't get a harsh alcohol flavor. Not hot at all. There's no like rubber bandy,
No.
yeasty defect flavors in there. I think it's good. It's well fermented on that account.
I agree with you. And one of the things that I was thinking about as you were talking was how years ago, I mean, we've been making mead a long time now, 20 years. And when we first started making mead, it would be a year before we could drink it, and it would be drinkable. Now, it would eventually get there. But the techniques that we've learned from other folks around the world, around the country, and Ken Schramm and Moonlight Meadery folks, all those people that we've talked to over the years, you can move. You made this mead in February the 10th.
Yeah. So 2 months ago,
2 months.
as of this taping.
Yeah, and it's ready to go. I mean,
Yeah. Other
there's-
than the carbonation, which will take a little time.
but there's another one.
There's another one we
So
can't
what do
forget.
we-
Okay, so this is half of it.
Okay.
The other half, I got some, and I meant to bring the little bottle, some natural peach flavoring
Yeah.
from your shop.
Yeah.
And along with my wife Susan's help, we mixed in about half of that so about an ounce of that peach flavoring into the rest of that in the Mr. Beer fermenter, and then bottled it after that. Now I didn't prime this at all, so there's
This is still.
it's not, yeah, it's still, but let's see what you think about that.
It smells great. It smells really, really good. Well, that's lovely.
See,
That's really good.
I think it's okay. I'm going to shut up and you talk. You talk about how it tastes. Pardon me, Foster Brooks.
Foster Brooks here. That orange is just the
It's
nose of it.
peach.
I mean peach. I meant peach. I misspoke. But the peach just jumps out at you, and it's so good, and it tastes like a peach. It's
Yeah.
like you're drinking a peach.
It's not chemically at all.
Not at all. This is great.
And I was gonna put this on peaches, actual peaches, and you said I've got this peach flavoring.
Yeah, and so and so now that I'm in the business, I carry this stuff, and I was skeptical too of it. I'll just be honest about it. So that
Right.
I carry this stuff. It's a 4-ounce extract in all these flavors, every flavor you can think of, even oak. I mean, everything you can think of. And of course, I carry them, and I thought, okay, this will have its applications. But I started playing with them, and I've always been a fresh fruit guy. You got to put it on the fresh fruit. No, you don't. I mean, really and truly, no, you don't. This is so much easier.
And peaches are messy.
Peaches are messy, and peaches are hard to retain the flavor from. Peaches and strawberries are really, really hard. They say if you want to make a really good tasting peach beer, use apricots.
Oh, okay.
Apricots retain the flavor, and the flavor profile is so close to a peach, might as well be a peach. But this was, you poured 2 ounces in or however much.
Yeah, or half a bottle.
Half
It was
a
a
bottle.
bottle this big.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember if it was a 2-ounce bottle. It wasn't. I don't think it was 4 ounces. It might have been a 2-ounce bottle. I wish I had brought it.
remember.
Anyway, about half of the bottle.
Yeah, half a bottle.
Your mileage may vary, and the beauty thing about it is you can add, there's no fermentables in it, so you can add it at
Yeah.
bottling time. You can flavor it to your
Absolutely.
taste. And there you
And so far, I've done a version of this mead, my version of it, with ginger and apples, and boy is it good, and boy does it taste like ginger. And I really like ginger. And if you've watched the show over the years, we've done a lot of things with ginger. And Marianne beat him.
For Basic Brewing bingo. That's right. Check the Gilligan's Island joke.
But the peach flavor here just jumps right out at you, and it so complements the honey, and it works so well in this. Great job. Thank you for taking a chance on it, because we talked about it quite a bit, and it was like, when you've got something like mead, which is expensive, mead is a dear thing. It's not an inexpensive thing to make, so you don't want it to be bad.
Right.
You want to make sure it's what you want. So I was really very pleased and relieved.
Yeah, me
that,
too.
Yeah, I mean, really and truly, that as I play with some of these things, that for a long time I kind of looked my nose down at them. That's a good product, and it deserves to be used. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Cheers to you. And you've got some other honey products
I do.
that are coming up that are being bottled as we speak and things like that. And so, in an upcoming episode, we'll have more from the sweet side, from the honey side, of life. So try this. Mead is go and listen to that Basic Brewing radio episode with Ricky the Mead Maker. Go search for Ricky the Mead Maker on YouTube. He's got his own channel.
Yep.
Tons of information. You can ask it's Ask the Mead Maker is his channel. And if you're in Vermont, check out Groenfell Meadery. They are good folks, and they make awesome meads, and they're inspirational.
I'm telling you.
So there you go. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, James.
Cheers.
Happy brewing.
Come and visit us online. At basicbrewing.com, you can find archive lists of our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs and our brewer's logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer. If you're in Fayetteville, Arkansas, stop by Steve's Brew Shop or find him online at stevesbrewshop.com.
That was fun.
Yeah.